All right. Welcome to the Scorched Earth podcast for Wednesday. God, Wednesday already. We're in the middle of the week. This is the sports section. And we are going to go over the headlines in sports. And then what I'm going to try and do is every day take a different betting thing that is going to be coming up in the next day or two. I'm not going to do NBA every day. Baseball, when Brother Brian comes in here, I'm going to make a pick every day. We're going to keep track of it, see how I do. You're probably better off going against my picks. That's usually how it works. But please hit the like and subscribe button. And away we go. Leave your comments. Tell me what you want to talk about. So, God bless Dan Hurley, coach of the back-to-back defending UConn Huskies. Guy who turned down the Lakers. Wow. I wonder if he knew Luka was coming, if he would have took that job. That's an interesting thing there. But UConn's had an up and down year, especially it started really terrible, but they seem to be getting a little momentum. He taunted the fans after UConn won against Creighton. That's one of the real big rivals. That is a really chippy series there. I remember last year, right after Creighton beat UConn in February, the odds for UConn to repeat went up to 10-1, and I couldn't get over to the sports book quick enough. I was in town. I was like, "Oh man, that's some nice thing." And you know, UConn just soared to the title. It really wasn't even a big deal. And the final score was 70-66. They covered the 3-point spread. Dan Hurley, that guy, man, I like his. You know, it's funny when you're a winner, you can be however you want. You could be John Wooden, you could be Dan Hurley, Jerry Tarkanian, cheat. You know, you can do whatever you want. But if you win, it's cool. If you lose, you could be the Pope. They're still going to run you out of town. I remember what Kentucky did to Tubby Smith. You know, he came in, kept the ship rolling, won a title, and you just didn't win enough, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, they got the cat from Texas A&M, and things went down. And then all of a sudden, they got Calipari, and then we better be careful. Mark Pope had a big win. They won at home against Tennessee. I used to live in Lexington, and that is just a fascinating town. You know, I came from Los Angeles, and growing up, UCLA was the power. And they were not even close to being idol worshipped like Kentucky is in Lexington and the state. I've been by Wildcat Lodge. Let me tell you something. I wish the Waldorf Astoria was that nice. I mean, though I've seen pictures of what those guys' room is. I mean, literally, I hope my next house is that big. I mean, they got a room, they got a living room, they got a bathroom, then they got a communal gym, and Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, they got probably 15 players on the squad, 12 on scholarship, you know, 3, you know, walk on, blah, blah, blah. But, man, they're living a good life. Let me tell you, you want to live a good life, you come back as a Kentucky basketball player, especially one who's good, you know. Oh, geez. I was living there during the 95, 96, 97 era. And, man, Rick Pitino, man, that was just a monster on a monster. Oh, my gosh. Those kids walked on water. They walked on water. Forget NIL, man. Those guys, there was always money going in their pockets. All right. Brandon Ingram just traded the other day from New Orleans to Toronto for a bunch of scrap parts for the space shuttle, agreed to a 3-year, $120 million deal, and I guess Toronto finally found somebody who wanted to sign there. I mean, they have a really good organization. The Blue Jays have a very good organization. We're going to talk about that probably next week. They might have the best starting pitching in the American League outside of the Dodgers. I think they probably do. Phillies have a good starting staff too. But the nobody wants to go there. Ohtani kind of flirted with them. Sasaki flirted with them. Soto flirted with them, And nobody just wants to go north of the border. I don't think it's a tax thing. I just think there's a stench there. And, hockey's a little different. I mean, the Maple Leafs are considered golden. And I wonder, how do you get to be the icon of a sport? And I know they got the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. I've been there, and I've been to Maple Leaf Gardens, and it's reverential. I've been lucky. I've been to some really incredible places. I've been to Kentucky basketball games. I've been to Maple Leaf games. The one thing on my bucket list is I really want to go to the Masters, but I don't understand how Toronto Maple Leafs are such an icon when they haven't won in literally 60 years. I mean, at some point, don't you have to? I mean, they are literally showing the Cowboys, yeah, you can still be the biggest and baddest thing and not win. They're just doing that. Talking about the Cowboys, Dak Prescott came out in the news and he said, Cowboys are this close to winning it all. Yeah, we competed with Philadelphia. No, you didn't. You're not even close. You got way too many holes. You are not going to. You may beat that team once a year, once every 2 years, but in the playoffs, when you got to win 3 or 4 games, you're just not competing. Honestly, the Cowboys got a bigger problem. They got to look at Washington because Daniels is just out of this world. I mean, they're going to have a real problem with them. The Giants are the Giants. As long as they got Joe Shane there, who's every day thankful Nico Harrison's around as a general manager because now he's not the worst in sports. And finally, Steve Smith, legendary receiver for the Carolina Panthers, blasted Cam. I call him Scam because the whole Auburn hush money thing, where he got out of it by saying his dad got the money and not him. Yeah, Scam. Before they could legally take the money. It's kind of the Reggie Bush thing, Reggie Bush did USC dirty, and he wants to come out like he's the victim, and he should get his Heisman. And, you broke the law. It's like people when Prohibition was going on, and they were bootlegging liquor, and then all of a sudden, a couple years later, Prohibition ends, and they go, hey, that should be taken off my record. The only thing that gets taken off your record is if you riot on at the Capitol on January 6th, okay? A couple years later, that all gets expunged. It all gets commuted. Everybody else, you got to live. It's going to stay on your record, okay? Maybe you should have had that for Trump. Just have him expunge those things, too. Who knows? He got Billy Walters out of jail, the biggest gambler in the world. Yeah, right. So Scam Newton called the Panthers losers when he got there. When I was the first pick, I went into a locker room full of losers. Just honest. His thing is he's trying to be outlandish so he can get a gig on ESPN. I mean, he is really trolling hard for that job. He's wearing the hats, wearing the funny glasses. He thinks he's Stephen A., and that dude is not even in Stephen A.'s wheelhouse, man. Stephen A. at 6 was better than Cam Newton is. Scam Newton is. Maybe, when we're talking about winners and losers, we should have focused a little more on you jumping on that fumble in Super Bowl 50 and not letting the Broncos get in and win the game. But what are we going to do? All right. Our preview today for sports betting is going to be the Daytona 500. I know it's Sunday. I'm doing this because the odds just really came out. They got the qualifying. They got the hot 150 lap or 150 mile hot laps on Thursday. The twin duels. I'm going to go over some things. We're going to see how qualifying is. Really, what I'm going to tell you is not based on a lot of knowledge, like most of my stuff. I will tell you about golf, though, tomorrow. There's a couple picks I really like. And I'm telling you, I hit that Justin Rose at Pebble Beach. I'm telling you, that was second place. But we have to see how the qualifying is. I was looking at the odds on manufacturers today. Seems like Chevrolet is the favorite, Ford's second, Toyota's third. Denny Hamlin, about 14-1. He's looking for his fourth title. The last three winners at this race have been Michael McDowell, Austin Cindric, and Ricky Stenhouse. And I remember back in 2011, I'll tell you a little story. I went up to Vegas. We were at the Superbook, me and my brother Scott, and we were looking at it. And Scott's really into NASCAR, Back then, he was just watching Speed Week. He was just doing all that stuff. And I like Scott, and I wanted to, have something we could talk about. And I get competitive, and I wanted to learn all about the series. And we went up there, and we bet like 5-10 guys, right? And at the end, it was either Scott or me. I don't remember who it was. Said, what about this Trevor Bayne guy? And we had Trevor Bayne at 100-1. I want to say it was 100-1. And we also, we had Bobby Labonte too. It's like I tell you at the Super Bowl, don't bet right before the game because you just start finding a million guys to bet, right? Just figure out who you want, bet them on Friday or whatever, and then leave town. But Trevor Bayne won that one. And I remember Scott going up to the cashier, and she looked at it once and she looked at it twice and goes, man, I can't remember the last time I paid off 100-1, and I was right behind Scott. I was like, yeah, you're going to be paying off another one too. And this is the race where anything can happen. And I'm not big on the chalk. The chalk typically in this race is anywhere between 8 and 20-1. I'm not looking at that. Ryan Blaney, he finished up the year strong. He is your favorite in anywhere between 8 and 12-1. Always, like we talk about, shop the different sports books. There is an incredible difference. I saw Ryan Blaney tonight at 8-1 at FanDuel, and then I saw him at Circa at 12-1. So I mean, that's a 50% pop. It's huge. It's just really huge. The final three races of last year in the chase for Ryan Blaney were second, first, and second. He came in second. He has won at Daytona in summer of 2021. He's won at Talladega. I don't like him. Kyle Busch, interesting. He's got 7 top 3s at Daytona. He came off a terrible year. Don't like him. Trash. I will tell you 2 guys that are interesting. I will tell you that people I bet on. I took, let me find him, Austin Dillon at 85-1. And I took Ricky Stenhouse at 40-1. Okay? I'm not really happy with the Ricky Stenhouse thing. But the other one, too, I really was intrigued by was Noah Gragson and Zane Smith. Over the winter, they moved to Front Row Sports. Front Row Sports is very good. That is a really good organization. Yeah, Martin Truex left. They're trying to get younger. I think it's a salary thing. I don't know enough of the inner workings about how it works inside the garage there. But I like those two. And you're looking at guys at 60 and 80-1. At the end of the day, let's just say hypothetically, you bet $50 on a guy at 14-1. You're looking at a payback of $700, $800, just in the general range. I would rather take $10 on these 80-1s at Daytona or Talladega and go for that, because there's going to be 1 or 2 big wrecks. We see it every year. And these guys, All they have to do is just catch lightning in a bottle for 2 laps. That's it. That's all they got to catch. So we're going to get a little more. I'll update it on Friday after we see how everybody qualifies. And I hope you had a good sports betting day. I hope you make a lot of money. Hey, hit the like and subscribe button. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow.